And now for the first time, Churchill Downs hosting a big racing day in August. It's called the Arlington Million, and it's a full day of live racing in Chicago-style music and food. I caught up with Tanya Ablin, Vice President of Communications for Churchill Downs, to learn a little bit more about this beloved history of the Chicago race day and now how we get to enjoy it right here in Louisville. Racing is back at Churchill Downs for one day only anyway, and you're probably checking the calendar thinking, wait a minute, but it's August. Tanya Ablin, Vice President of Communications for Churchill Downs, explain it all, because we look at the calendar and it is August, but this is a really special day of races you're going to have.
You're right. People aren't used to coming to Churchill Downs in August, and they're thinking September would be the next opportunity to see live racing here. But this year, as you said, we're having this one day only special event. It's the Arlington Million. And if you're a casual racing fan, that might not resonate with you. But if you're a horse racing lover, you know all about this race. It's so important in the thoroughbred industry. It attracts some of the best turf horses really in the world. It's an international racing experience, and this will be the first time we've had it at Churchill Downs Racetrack.
So this was a really big race at Arlington Park, and when the track closed, you guys decided, why don't we do it here?
Absolutely. This will be the 40th running of the Arlington Million, and so 40 years ago, this was an incredible festival and celebration just outside of Chicago in Arlington Heights. And when the track shuttered last year, we knew it was important to preserve that great legacy, but also we thought, what an exciting opportunity to bring this to the Kentucky circuit. So, again, $1 million purse, and for the longest time, that was the largest purse for thoroughbred racing in the United States.
Wow.
Even larger than the Kentucky Derby for many years. And so this is a really, really big deal for the thoroughbred industry. We're privileged to be able to host it here on our new turf course, which we renovated just last year, $12 million renovation, one of many exciting changes that's happening here at the racetrack.
Talk a little bit about just the history of the Arlington Million. Rich, deep history, just for what some of the stakes races are named for, or I should say who they are named for.
That's a very good question. So the Arlington Million was obviously named after Arlington Park, which is a beloved, beautiful racetrack outside of Chicago. And then we're also hosting the Beverly D, which is a race that's named after the wife of Richard Churchill, and he is just a legend in the horse racing industry. He was formerly a board member of Churchill Downs Racetrack, but he bought Arlington Park. Actually, he was a guest of the Kentucky Derby in 1983, and his host just convinced him that he should buy a racetrack.
Why not?
Lo and behold, he went back to Chicago, he bought the track, and he put his heart and soul into it and just turned it into this incredibly legendary yearly race. He named this stakes race after his wife, after she passed in 1980 after a hard-fought battle with cancer, and it just meant so much to him to be able to honor her each year. And he was an incredible man. He was a war hero, received the Purple Heart. He rebuilt Arlington Park after an electrical fire that left it little more than debris, only 21 days from when the Arlington Million was to run there. And he just never gave up. He loved racing, and my favorite quote of his was, he said, "No one told us it couldn't be done." So, in light of that, he kept trying, he kept pushing, and so for him, we're going to keep going with the Arlington Million.
And it sounds like you guys are going to honor his legacy here. A lot of folks from Chicago, kind of VIPs, rolling out the red carpet for them for that day.
Yes, absolutely. So we lost Mr. Churchill earlier this year. We call him Mr. D. And he passed away at the age of 100 in January, so his entire family will be here to celebrate with us. Lots of people from Chicago are making the trip to Louisville because they're used to celebrating this big day in August.
Full day of racing and lots of Chicago fun and celebrations happening all day long, right?
When you think Chicago, you think great jazz music, and so we'll have that. We'll have Robbie Bartlett performing in between races. And you think food.
Yes,
I love their Chicago dogs. So we'll be serving lots of just Chicago treats and just trying to infuse Churchill Downs for one day with the spirit of Chicago, the legacy of Mr. D in Arlington Park.
All right, love it, Tanya. Thank you. All right, to get your tickets, just go to churchilldowns.com.